Medicine. Great to see you all. All right, so first of all, the question of whether it's happened before or whether this is an isolated incident. She was asked about that moments ago. Here is how she described her own history with what we saw on video yesterday. Watch.
How often has this happened?
Oh, I think really only twice that I can recall. It is something that has occurred a few times over the course of my life, and, I'm aware of it.
I don't know. You tell me, Starwell, whether that had the ring of truth.
Man, there is a reason Clintonian is an adjective, and this is some Clintonian business that's going down here. Bill Clinton says, rarely, it's so legalistic, rarely, but on more than one occasion over many, many years, so that it's open enough so that it covers all of the bases. The bases are covered, counselor. There's wiggle room at the end. So I guess I forgot about that other time I passed out. I forgot about the other time I collapsed. So the Clintons are Clintoning in full Clinton fashion tonight.
Right. It just raises more questions. It's like, if I ask you, seriously, to the viewers sitting at home, if I say to you, how many times have you fainted in the past 10 years? Would you have to be like, it's like, none. I have never fainted in the past 10 years. I have it at the ready. I mean, you tell me whether she answered more questions or created more, Howie.
Well, really created more based on the fact that it's now the #1 story in the campaign. Megan, I was anchoring yesterday when the news broke, and what was stunning was not that she has pneumonia. Lots of people get pneumonia, but the realization that Hillary Clinton and her campaign spent days blatantly misleading the press and the public about her health. Now, imagine an alternative universe where on Friday, before the shaky 9/11 video and all that, she put out a statement. I've got pneumonia. I'm going to take it easy a few days. It's a grueling campaign. I think people would have felt sympathy for her. Instead, this mishandling is causing more damage than a mere infection.
I can defend her on that. I think, okay, you're running for president, you have a grueling schedule, you're tough, you get a diagnosis of pneumonia. Obviously, it wasn't, a catastrophic diagnosis because she did do a lot on Friday. And you think, I don't need to disclose it. A lot of people get pneumonia. Why do I have to run into, it's not like I got a cancer diagnosis, right? But when she collapsed and tried to get the press pool away from her, Steyerwalt, and then they tried to give us a bunch of baloney that she was just overheated, which was not true. That's when people said, there's more here.
And if you are a person who is about 2/3 or close to 2/3 of the American electorate says is not honest and trustworthy, if you are that person, and you are also a person with a history of health problems, including some serious ones, what is the dadgum only thing that you should never make sure that you ever do? Lie about your health. Don't do it. Big mistake.
Although her doctor says she's in excellent health, her doctor says this is pneumonia, and that she said tonight she needs to rest for 5 days and she's going to go back out there. Dr. Siegel, can I ask you about something else on this video? I'm not going to ask you to diagnose Hillary Clinton over the airwaves. I know you can't and you won't. But she did say tonight that she never lost consciousness. And I have to tell you, I'm not a medical professional, but that just doesn't look like it could be real based on this video. I mean, this doesn't look like dizziness. This looks like she went down, like she did lose consciousness, but what are your thoughts?
Well, number one, Megan, it is a video, but you're picking up something there, which is there seems to be a loss of muscle tone, and that happens when you're in the process of blacking out. All of these questions are raising more questions. We need to know. She fell and hit her head back in 2012. After that, I'd like to see the neurological records. I would want to see the MRIs. The less information we have, the more we're going to be prone to speculating. Howie knows how that works in the media. If we don't have the facts, we speculate. We cannot make a diagnosis here, and no doctor should. But we've seen enough. By the way, pneumonia, Megan, I don't think it's such a minor thing. You're given a diagnosis. If I diagnose somebody with pneumonia on a Friday, and pneumonia is usually a diagnosis made by a chest X-ray. You see a blotch there. An elderly person, if they had a fever, Bill Clinton says she's dehydrated. Well, wait a minute. People don't walk around dehydrated. So if you get dehydrated enough from an infection to the point where you may black out or you have a fever, why would she be going to a memorial service? This is all questions.
Well, I have another question for you on that, Dr. Siegel. If she has pneumonia, I know you can get either viral or bacterial, right? But in either one, should you be at a crowded memorial event? Should you be shaking hands with a bunch of people? Should you be hugging a little girl? Should you be going to visit your daughter with her 2 babies?
Absolutely not. And by the way, you can't always tell the difference between viral and bacterial pneumonia. That's probably why Dr. Bardak put her on antibiotics. If she's coughing, if she had something on an x-ray, if she had a fever, she give her antibiotics just to make sure.
No one's trying to condemn her for being irresponsible, right, with the shaking of the hands. The question is whether we're being given the straight truth about what she's actually ailing from. Wait, I want to get the soundbite in about the transparency. This is how she's trying to spin it now to put it back on Trump. Can you listen? Watch.
Donald Trump's doctor said he'd be the healthiest president in history. That's just not even serious. And I've released nearly 40 years of tax returns. He hasn't released one. This is a man with unknown numbers of partners and investors who says he's doing 120 foreign deals. The American people deserve to know what he's up to and what he is hiding. So if we weren't fast enough, I've talked to my staff. We take responsibility for that. But the information is out there. You can't say the same thing about Donald Trump.
Howie?
This carries uncomfortable echoes of the email scandal where information had to be dragged out over a period of months. And when a politician is cornered, they try to deflect. So rather than talk more about her own health problems and the fact that, that the campaign was not straight, even on the day that it happened, ditching the press pool, she goes to Donald Trump's tax records. Now, Donald Trump should release his tax records. That's a separate issue. Even Hillary Clinton's liberal allies are having trouble defending her on this one.
As we saw in that Axelrod tweet. Great to see you all. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Megan.
You bet.